This is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runner's Alley, coming to you from the New Englands, the 2021 New Englands at Thetford, Vermont. I'm Jim McKenzie.
And this is Scott Bliss.
Hey, Scott, what do you think today?
Boy, this girls' race, I think actually is really interesting because there's a lot of unknown stuff that could impact how this race plays out. On paper, New Milford from Connecticut, I would say is the favorite, but their number one girl has been dealing with an illness and just got cleared to come back last week. And at Connecticut Open, she was definitely not in her number one spot. That opens it up with Glastonbury from Connecticut also then possibly being an outlier for the top spot. We go into New Hampshire, Oyster River. I know they were second at Meet of Champs, but at Dairyfield the week before, they ran very, very well. And then you probably go down to your next group, which is Rhode Island has a clear chance too with North Kingstown, LaSalle Academy, and East Greenwich, which I find East Greenwich to be a very interesting team because they have two absolute legit elite runners at the front end of their team.
Yeah, so also Bonnie Eagle was a clear-cut favorite over in Maine. They won by, I think, 80 points. How about the girls from Vermont?
So Burlington and Harwood maybe because of the strength of Ava Thurston as their number one. With the teams from Vermont, it's probably going to be an issue if their 4 and 5s are too far back. That's going to really cause them some problems.
So Keene, that's their issue too. They got 4 real strong, and it's their 5th. If their 5th can come alive today, I think they could really do well here.
Well, an interesting thing when I was looking at the individuals too, the majority of top 25 individuals on paper are on teams that actually score, where normally that's not necessarily the same. You know, there's normally more individual athletes who don't count in the team scoring, but this year it's the opposite way. And that, if you have a good 1 or 2, it could significantly impact the points.
That's crazy. All right, so on the individuals, I'm here also with Marty Ogden. Marty, why don't you tell us about these girls from Connecticut?
Well, obviously Rachel St. Germain is the star of the show. She's the 5th fastest girl on Wickham's course, and which involves several Foot Locker finalists that have run that. So she's one of the favorites going in. Claire Daniels is a big question mark. She was all New England 2 times in a row, freshman year and again sophomore year. She's a question mark because she had mono earlier in the season. She came back at 21st at the State Open. Not quite up to her level, but she did that on purpose to kind of save herself for this. We got a future star in Brooke Strauss from Glastonbury. She should be up in the top 15 or 20 or so. So other than that, obviously that's the Connecticut side, but then we move into like Rhode Island. Who do we have for Rhode Island, guys?
So Reese Fahey's she's elite from East Greenwich. She's definitely a star runner. She was very high up in Great American earlier this year. Her teammate Riley Shunny also. Then Maine, Ruth White. I'm intrigued to see Ruth White because I've heard a lot of great stuff about her.
I have too. I think she's the dark horse today. I really believe it.
And I'm hearing she's about 4'6", so yeah. A little dynamo.
She won by almost a minute. That's how good she is.
Set the course record earlier in the season at the Meet of Champs up there. So I'm intrigued to see her.
Because she won at Ocean State, obviously. She's a stud. And she was second in Great American against national quality athletes there.
Now, I'm never going to count out Ava Thurston. If you're talking about a world championship level Nordic skier on a course like this, who knows what she can pull off on any given day.
She's the cross-country one that does cross-country skiing, right?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, when in Vermont, you got to do what you do in Vermont, I guess. A lot of time to ski, so.
And when you make a world's junior team, that means you're probably pretty talented.
And cross-country skiers usually make great cross-country runners.
Yep.
On the New Hampshire side, Brianna Malone, she is a deadly kick. She won the Meet of Champions last week. We also got Mary Kate Finn, and Chloe Trudell's always been up there. So those are our best from New Hampshire. So this race is wide open.
Yeah, there's just so many unknowns when you look at New Milford. I think clearly should be the favorite, but depending on Claire's health, who knows what could happen there. So I think there's just a lot of, like with East Greenwich, they've got their top 2 are so high up in the standings, but can their 4 and 5 get in early enough to not lose too many points? I'm really intrigued by this race, to be honest.
What I really like about New Milford is they run with names of their teammates on their shoes. So every time they look down, they have the name of their teammate on their shoes. They run for each other.
Great idea.
So that's a fantastic idea. How they've got a vibe on their team that only championship teams get. And I think you guys, as good coaches, you realize what that is. So let's see if they can continue that vibe one more week.
Most great teams are selfless. They're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their teammates.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It's an awesome
So
story.
and they have a tight pack of top 3, and then their 4, 5, and 6 are a little farther behind, but still they're not like way off the back. They've really developed well. I mean, when you have 3 studs, national class studs, they were all American in the 4x mile last year, and then they just developed a couple other girls. So we'll see what they do here.
Well, I'm wondering if this is going to be as close as the boys' race was, because that was really hard to pick out the winner in that race.
Oh yeah. It's going to be the same thing here too. We got to talk about Glastonbury too. They finished second at Trail Woods here when they didn't have their number 1 runner. So they would have been able to win the Trail Woods race. So they have experience on the course. Everything but their freshman there, Brooke Strauss. Everybody else has run. So we'll have to see what they're capable of doing with all 5 of them together.
Volunteers and individuals who are there to help you.
We got to give a shout out. What they're talking about here is the volunteers. You can't go 20 feet without seeing somebody with those volunteer shirts here.
Vermont definitely does it right.
Yeah, I cannot believe the support Thedford Academy gives to this meet year after year after year.
I think it's a community thing. They have a lot of pride in the events that they put on here. And you can clearly see it when you're around here with all of the people who come out, and they're volunteering their time to do this. So
yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
I mean, you can't go like everywhere you turn around. They got one of those volunteer signs, which is great, and they have so many little tables for questions, and they do a first-class job. They do a job worthy of the New England Championships here at Thetford.
And it starts right at the top. John Morton made up this course. He was in the 72 Olympics of biathlon. He's a personal friend of mine, great guy. And Dan Grossman, they were the first 2 guys here this morning, making sure the trail was all good. There wasn't trees down or anything. And these aren't young guys.
Yeah.
These are older guys that care. They care.
Well, I mean, it's the love of the sport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm younger than all you guys, but actually, I don't know about that. But.
Well, and here's the thing: Dan Grossman is the one that developed a lot of these New England records that we use. I mean, so I enjoy looking at New England records. I'm sure you guys do, and Dan Grossman found a lot of them. So we're about to get going. This is going to be a mob. I love watching this.
I'll tell you what, the course now is sloppy.
But it's the same for all 250
That's
of them,
right.
I guess.
And that's cross country.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
Strong will survive.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You go from the woods, where it's actually in really pretty good
Woods
shape,
are awesome shape.
and then you come out into this field sections, and now it becomes a little bit of a strength game for a little while.
Yeah, so you got I love the colors of all the different uniforms with the
Winners,
backdrop here.
take your mark.
And here they go, ladies and gentlemen. Cascade of runners narrowing about 300 meters in for one trail.
We have our favorite, the one girl way off the front.
Gotta have it.
All right, we're at the 600 mark, the girls' race. Top pack coming through. Yeah, Ava Thurston out front. It's actually got a bit of a gap for 600 in. Still pretty tight though.
Malone is about 15.
A big Pinkerton cap up there.
Wow. That's a lot of girls.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight crowd right now.
They're all fighting for space.
This seems packed up more than the boys.
Yeah, that was real tight. All right, we're just after the mile mark here.
So this is Ruth White from Orono, Maine. She is hammering.
Ruth White making a big move over that last K. We we saw Ava Thurston out front at the 6.
And there's Rachel St. Germain from Somers. Rachel's a strong runner. Let's see if she can reel her in the second half.
Strauss too, right? From Gossamer?
Yeah, there's a freshman right now. Future New England champion, perhaps. Let's see if she can get it done in her freshman year.
Carol Cummings from LaSalle, Delaney Hessler, Clyde Eagle.
And here's Kate Rector from Richfield. They got a shot at top 10.
Got MK Finn up there, Brianna Malone. Chloe Trudell of Sauhegan.
You gotta love how everybody's kind of moving through here. It's still pretty early in the race. We're only about just over 7 minutes in the race.
So one thing I'm seeing right away, I don't think East Greenwich came. I don't think they're here. Another Bonnie Eagle.
Come on now. Come on, Jazz. Work it.
Another one through.
Well, we definitely know more about the 3K mark next time we see it here.
Gossamer with another. Sal got another one.
The trick is they don't know where the teammates are. It's so crowded. It's hard to find your teammates.
Spreads out a lot more once we get past this point.
So it's hard to kind of feed off your team. You got to feed off kids from other teams, really.
Bonnie Eagle 2. 2 of them by.
Yeah, these big meets, you really want to pick someone at the start and just be like, all right, that's who I'm going with.
I just saw Richfield's fifth go by. They were fourth in the open.
This race is really spread out.
Well, now the winning team's fifth have all passed, but still, you got the top 10. There's some people that are going to be in the top 10. They're still waiting for the fifth one to come in right now.
Oh, it is. Looks like Ruthie White, Warno. She's ripping it. Quite a lead at this point, about halfway into the race. Don't look back, you got this, kid. Ruth White ripping it. Might be the young Kathy Scaro, Dover, long time ago. That's Rachel St. Germain of Somers. Tell you, the front runners in this race, a little bit more spread out than what we saw in the boys' race. Imagine it's just going to keep on continuing. Brooks Cross and Glossenberry. Now here comes the pack. There's Mary Kate Finn, Malone, and Dover. We got them all. Brooke Marshall, Chloe Trudell. So New Hampshire's well represented in the top 15. Mackenzie Cook of Oyster River. And we're getting to that point now we can start taking a look at teams. And so far, no one stood out yet. Again, halfway in, it's still pretty early. Wow, it is early. So LaSalle looks like they're doing pretty good on the girls' side. Wow, it's anybody's game, though. Jeez.
You got this.
Tell you what, Hopkins holding their way for a Division III team.
You got it. Don't throw that way.
Yeah, good to still see a group of them. There's a pair there, and then one about 15, 20 meters behind. There's 4 Hopkins right there. So they're running good. And again, in a race this competitive, this big, running as a team can be a huge strength. Huge. Kind of gives you an idea of where you're at in this race. I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Ruth White, she was hammering it. Oh, she looked good. She's tiny. Can she hold on, though? You know what I mean? Looking back, it's not a good sign, but I'll tell you what, she was strong. Well, at this point in the boys' race, they didn't need to look back because they could feel the pressure. Exactly. She had just enough of a lead where she couldn't feel anyone behind her. Might have heard a little bit of that crowd noise for the girl behind her, though. You know, the other thing is, when you're that small, you don't sink in as much. You really don't. You just zip along. She looked perfect. And I tell you, these trails right now, you can sink in a little bit. They're soft. There's a couple places on this that it might swallow her up. we're at basically the halfway point. So she's just gonna hold on. There's got a lot of hills to go.
All right, we're at the 3K mark.
Here she comes. Looks like White is still dominating. You know, a lot of times you get out really fast and you get caught up in it, but she looks great.
Yeah, still looks very strong.
11:03 at 3K.
Big move we saw on that 2K mark,
Here's
and
St.
still
Germain.
holding it totally fine.
St. Germain's going to try to reel in, but we're going to have to see what she can do. That is a pretty big lead to overcome right now. Come on, look up. Come on, go get her.
And she doesn't look like she's slowing down either. Yeah,
No.
Ava Thurston in third now.
Oh, yeah. And still, looks like Glastonbury's Brooke Strauss there. She's in fourth. That's huge for Glastonbury, who's in it for the team titles. Come on, Brooke. Come on, Brooke. Keep going.
Sal's won, Bonnie Eagles won. Now we can start looking at some teams here.
There's Brianna Malone, Portsmouth Christian, New Hampshire #1.
Dover.
Chloe Trudell,
New Milford.
16 for Milford. There's Richfield's #1.
Oyster River. I don't know if she's their one or their two. North Kingstown.
And here's our top 25s in here right now. There's
Milford.
Maddie Sweeney, the #2 from New Milford.
This is normally Burlington's 2. I didn't see their 1, but she may be through already. Kingstown. I think this is 3 for North Kingstown.
That's 2 for Richfield.
Bonnie Eagles 2.
There's 3 for Richfield. Richfield's having a pretty good day here. There's 3 for Milford. That's their Daniels.
Another Oyster River. Another Bonnie Eagle.
There's a couple of Glastonbury. That just might do it right there. I think that's their number 4 for Glastonbury.
Here comes another one.
And there's number 5 for Glastonbury, I believe. So New Milford's a little down right now.
Boy, this is just like the boys, though. It's really too hard.
And there's the Milford's 4 or 5, I believe, right there. Not too far behind.
It seems like this race a little bit more spread out than the guys were at this point, though.
Yeah, definitely. That's what's making it hard, though. Also, to know where people are. So.
Yeah, and I think if you're not where you want to be as a team, it's going to be harder to make up places with it strung out this far.
Yeah, you can't just make one surge and pass 15 people. Now you make one surge and pass maybe 5 or 6 people. But it's still a lot of places that you can make up right now.
Another team to keep an eye on in the top 10 is Champlain Valley, who has all 7 through already.
Yeah, they've got a fantastic. Didn't they win New England's last time?
2019,
yeah,
we won 2018 and 2019. And their 1 is inside the top 5 right now, too.
So that's going to help. If they can maintain that a close gap between 1 and 5, that's going to be huge for them. They produce.
All right, we're here at the top of Morty's Monster.
Ruth White from Orono coming into view. She's been leading basically from the kilometer on, and she is just hammering. No one in sight.
Wow. What a lead.
This is fantastic.
Especially at the top of this hill to really
Awesome
stretch out
run,
that lead.
awesome
oh my
run.
goodness.
Red uniform coming in. Summers.
Yep.
That's Rachel St. Germain from Summers, Connecticut. We got Ava Thurston from Harwood in 3rd. Very comfortable on this course.
Right.
As she's run their state championship here. I'm sure they were in the Thetford Woods run. Holy smokes, we got a crew coming through now.
Stevens.
I did see George Stevens, Thea Crowley from Maine. There's Delaney Hessler from Bonnie Eagle. Chloe Trudell from Sauhegan. Some Champlain Valley coming through. There's Brooke Marshall of Dover and Brianna Malone of Portsmouth Christian. Another Orono girl coming through.
So
I believe that's Mackenzie Cook from
Oyster River. It looks like those top 3 spots are pretty well defined. But
Yeah, there was a pretty good gap. Mary Kate Finn coming through.
I'd say the team race is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm seeing, and it's pretty hard
It's
to
tough.
go at this point. There's another Bonnie Eagle.
Yep.
Sophia Reynolds, Merrimack Valley. There's Bo's Top Girl. Tip of my tongue is the name, but another Concord. There's a third Bonnie Eagle at least.
Yep.
Second Dover, third Dover, maybe fourth Dover. Dover looking to be having a pretty good run. Sheldon Fisher of Cole Brown. There's Hannah Bennett from Hopkinton. Good old D3. Anna O'Reilly as well, right there. Shaylee Murdo of Hopkinton. Probably wishes she was on skis at this point. Downhill the rest of the way.
Love to see some D3 athletes in action here.
Well, they had a good year, and I don't think their Meet of Champions wasn't indicative of what they can actually run. But it's hard to be up 2 days, 2 weekends in a row.
Right.
Bunch of Keene girls going through. Another Bonnie Eagle, so that's at least 5 for them. Another Bonnie Eagle. I believe that's Delaney Hessler's younger sister. I totally spaced that she would be high school age at this point. So there's their 7 through, I think, unless I miscounted. So that's not a bad sign for them. A couple of Girtons rolling through, a couple of Harwoods. And then Morty's Monster definitely exacting its pound of flesh. You can see some of these girls. You got girl one shoe and barefoot from Keene. This has got to be a tough course to run.
When I was waiting between races, I saw a couple parents looking for shoes up here.
Oh, jeez. I don't think it's you know, the type of sucking mud that'll pull your shoe off, but if you don't have them tied, you know, there's enough terrain changes and faulty footing that on a tired athlete could probably pop a shoe here and there.
Use it and move on, really.
Yep. Well, you don't have any choice, really, right?
But how about Ruth White of Orono? Just speaking of this hill, just absolutely taking all her energy up right through there. It didn't look like a problem.
On the throttle, yeah.
Like she may have been tired, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah. I mean, I think this course, if you're that type of runner and you've got that type of strength, that you can really just drop the hammer on a course like this and just beg anybody to stay with you.
Yep.
And see how that'll take you. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you really like Meet of Champions course like last week, this is a totally different.
Oh, incredible!
Totally
yeah,
different.
Going from like the flattest course in New Hampshire to.
I was gonna say even more so than even just Dairyfield Park, because in Dairyfield Park you got your ups and downs, but you also got your long flowing downhill. So you just don't get that here.
Yeah.
This is. You're always chopping your stride. You're always making adjustments. So
I mean, even on the downhill here, I see behind us, you still have.
Oh, and it's steep.
Rolling, like you go down and come right back up again.
Yeah, your heart rate stays pegged pretty much the whole time. Off to just past the 4 kilometer mark then. Way to go, Orono.
All right, I think that'll do it for up top. We'll see you down below.
Here we go. Here's our leader. She has a huge lead right now on us.
Stretching it out.
Yeah, White looks super smooth. Took this race early and never looked back.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of tough for anybody to catch this.
Yeah, and it does not look like she's slowing down at all.
Yeah, because St. Germain now, geez, that's about a 20-second gap there. But she's got, looks like another 10-second gap on third place, so it looks like the top 2 places are predetermined unless something drastic
Ava
happens.
Thurston holding on to third here still for Harwood.
That's going to be good for the team score.
See, one of the things, you got to be able to run these downhills smooth. That's going to be kind of important to kind of make up ground. But these top three look like they're pretty set in their places.
Yeah, I was going to say that gap has definitely increased.
Now here comes the pack. And there's been some change.
Cape Elizabeth, Stevens. Delaney Hessler from Bonnie Eagle. Glastonbury's 1.
Glastonbury's 8.
Chloe Trudell, Sauhegan.
LaSalle's 1 and Champlain Valley's 1.
12, that's 12th place. For
Brianna Malone.
Dover's 1. Burlington's 1.
That's Woodlands. It's about 16th place.
Burlington's 1 inside the top 10 too.
There's Bolton.
Mackenzie Cook of Oyster River.
Yeah.
Freshman. Right up there.
Okay, here's the Milford's number 2. So now we're going to get the team battle coming up now.
Kingstown, North Kingstown in.
Paul was 3rd in the open. That's their first.
MK Finn of BG.
Burlington's 2, Bonnie Eagles 2.
You're living it. You're living it. I'll see you at the finish line. 33 right
Sophia
now.
Reynolds.
Richfield got a couple coming.
I think I missed the Richfield runner. I think that's their 3, unless
North
I missed
Kingstown
it.
again.
There's the Milford's 3 right there, so they're still in the hunt for the team title.
Bonnie Eagle.
Maya Brochu of Bow went through. They're
Richfield.
first. Big 2 in for Dover. Or that's 3
Richfield's
in for
number
Dover,
1.
I mean.
She must have had a bad spill. She was up in the top 10.
Sheldon Fisher,
Glastonbury.
Co-Brown.
LaSalle's got 2. This is 3, I think, number 3 for them. Sauhegan with another one.
Still waiting for some other teams, 4 5s.
So here's the problem with Champlain Valley, who I said had their 7 through. Their 2 is just coming through right now.
There's
New
Glastonbury. There's right there. There's number 4
Another
for New Milford and 5 for New Milford. So I
Champlain
think
Valley's
that's the first 5.
3, Champlain Valley's 4.
Still a lot of racing to do, but right now I'd say New Milford's got a slight edge right now.
Glastonbury. Here's Champlain Valley's 5, 6.
Gotta love how they run together in groups sometimes. It's great they can spot each other and use each other to feed off of.
Pack getting a little bit thicker. That front half still very spread out.
Yeah, it's amazing how the girls separate themselves today. There wasn't much of a lead pack like there was in the boys' race today.
Another New Milford. Have they got 5 through, or is that their 5th?
That's their 6th, I
Their
believe.
6th, okay.
And Dover has 5 through as well. They should be up there in the top 5 conversation, I think.
And here's New Milford 7. That's my old high school coach's granddaughter just went by from New Milford.
6 for Dover.
Girl from MDI trying to get her balance.
You do not want to fall coming down this hill.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta put your arms up a little wide to keep your balance.
Yeah, like we talked about in the guys' race, you really got to run this downhill hard. I mean, you're really going downhill almost all the way to the finish. There's that one slight little bump with, 400 or 500 to go. But really mostly downhill from this part, so.
Yeah, it's this place and maybe the last 100 meters or so that you can probably pass somebody.
And it's hard because you're exhausted, you're fatigued from going uphill for quite a while. You know, the first 3 plus K, there's a lot of climbing in that first half of the race.
Yeah, you can't be one of those girls that's a half miler and run well on this course.
Probably,
you know,
probably not.
This is more of a 2 mile course more than it is a half mile course. Like some flat courses, a good half mile can get away with it.
Yeah, you can just kind of put the gas on and just cruise,
Yeah.
but this course you really just got to grind it out the whole time.
You need a lot of leg strength. I mean, look at how strong you have to be to maneuver these downhills. You have to be a physically strong athlete. And make no mistake, these are great athletes out here. Okay, we're going to be coming up on the finish line in a few minutes. Looking forward to seeing how this all pans out.
And we can see our leader,
Ruth White of Orono.
coming through the trees.
She is ripping it.
It's an unbelievable time right now. Using that downhill.
Look at her go.
got 18:20 on the clock. Should be placing high in the boys' race. I mean, she is ripping. Humongous lead. There's your 2021 New England champion. Look at her. She isn't even sinking in the mud. Look at her. Ripping it. Don't look back. You got it, girl. Nice job. Nice job. I mean, she ripped it. Yeah, I mean, look at this gap. Absolutely incredible performance from her. Rachel St. Germain taking second place, and she's way ahead also. What a great day. Those two, you don't see finishes like that where they're that far ahead of the next. Now third place is coming into view. Ava Thurston, the hometown hero from Harwood, taking third place. Harwood, Vermont. What a great run. Wow, are they spread out. 4 and 5, pretty close battle. And here we go. We start getting the numbers coming through. Here comes Chloe Trudell. She's our first New Hampshire runner. That's the way to go out, Chloe. Brianna Malone, Forsyth Christian. Brooke Marshall coming into view. Team-wise, it's still anybody's guess. Brooke Marshall at Dover. See a lot of these girls going to the outside where it's not as beat up. Trying to get as good a footing they can to finish this out. Mackenzie Cook of Oyster River. Having a good day. But boy, it is tough to tell what team. Concord having a good day. Mary Kay Finn with Bishop Girton. It's just an assortment of teams right now. Sophia Reynolds, former second place in New England, having a pretty good day today. Maya Groshew, excuse me. Maya Doobie's out in Montana.
Not a bad mess up. There's Dover. Dover's got a couple in now. Got 3 or 4.
Dover's got 3 in. There's Concord, so they're looking pretty good.
Again, Dover won New Hampshire last week.
Sheldon Fisher, Phil Brown. Hannah Bennett of Hopkinton. Stephanie Svensson of Souhegan.
Brennan seems to be having it.
Shelley Smith, Concord.
Taylor, just like we saw in the boys' race, every one of these spots counts. A lot of these close battles right now. These girls know it. They got to get whoever they can get by the finish line.
I'll tell you what, a lot of the uniforms look alike. Canyon Hills and Champlain Valley look really a lot.
And I tell you, you never know when you're going to tie for first or tie for second.
Hey, you never know that. That 6th runner can be very important.
Pretty impossible to tell off teams.
Well, you can definitely tell who first, second, and third was. I mean, they were spread out. But Ruth White, holy moly, she's only a sophomore, so guess what, folks? She's got some time.
I tell you, we saw her look back a couple of times. She's got nothing to look back at. She did phenomenal.
She's got plenty of things to look forward to. She's a king. I mean, no doubt on both sides, boys and girls, today, who the true champions were.
Gavin Cherry ran and you think, wow, that's the most dominating race I've seen in a long time in New England Championships. And then you wait 20 minutes and you watch it again. Ruth White, unbelievable. And And even second place, that would have been a dominating win.
That's right. Second or third. Yep.
It's crazy.
They were spread out that much.
No, you can't take anything away from the top girls today. They all did excellent.
Unbelievable. And after that men's race, they tore up the course.
Yeah.
But she just floated over the mud. 1, 2, and 3.
She did. It's definitely an advantage of being small like that. You're not sinking in.
And a course like this, where you got the Morty's Monster, you got a bunch of hills. Being light like that and tiny is it's huge for getting over that.
Tiny is huge. That a Yogi Berra thing?
It is.
Oh, that was outstanding. Outstanding day.
Rain held off too. It's good.
It's gonna take a while for this course to heal back up, though.
Yes.
In fact, this was supposed to be. The New Englands was supposed to be here last year.
Right.
And everything got moved, set ahead because of the COVID.
And I tell you, it just makes the performance of our top athletes on both sides that much more impressive that they didn't have a New England's last year for cross country. You're talking about a sophomore female winner. That's big.
Oh, big time.
She didn't have a chance freshman year to go ahead and go against some of the best in New England.
And I wouldn't be too surprised if both the winners you saw today would have won last year.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anybody in New England that would have beat either one of them. So, I mean, you can say 1-time, 2-time New England champions, but I think on a normal high school resume, they'd have a couple more. And Ruth, I mean, she can potentially get 3.
Yeah, there's very few that have gotten that many. And the girl I compared her to was Kathy Sherrill. That's who she got. She got 5. That's who she looked like coming down through when I first saw her. Because Kathy was tiny, and that's how she looked. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, anytime you're getting compared to her, it's kind of a good thing, so.
Yeah. I mean, she still has the record at Van Cortlandt, hasn't she?
I believe so.
Yeah. There's been some studs there. Curious to see how that time she just ran stacks up for the course.
No doubt, both of those would have been probably record-breaking days on a normal day.
Yeah, I mean, we walked across the field that they all started on, and yeah, I was happy I didn't lose a shoe in it, so if that tells you anything about how the conditions can be out there.
The girls' course record on this is pretty fast.
Yeah, she just fits the build so well.
Patrick Lawless, please come to the
And she just
announcing booth.
grinds. I mean, look at her. She's not like the effortless, just floating along. She is working hard.
Yeah, I was a little nervous for her about halfway. I was thinking, oh, she's looking back. That girl was still in the hunt. But boy, she must have just ripped up the hills.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it's the experience thing. You know, once you get more experience running against some more competitive athletes, you're going to get to have a good sense of it and know that you don't necessarily need to look back to figure out where people are.
Once you've done it, then you know you can do it again.
And I almost wonder, so she trains up in Orono, right? That's where she lives.
Yep.
She hasn't got crazy competition this year. So she must have thought, wow, is this actually how it's going to be?
I don't even know up in Orono. Do they still have daylight up there? They're like up with Alaska, right? You know, you only get so many hours.
She's racing the polar bears up there.
Well, nonetheless, a very respectable performance from her and all of our athletes here today. So once again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runner's Alley. Today we're representing, all of New England. Happy to do so. Representing the State Running Network. This has been your 2021 New England Girls Championship.